I'm Alex Berman, and you're watching Selling Breakdowns. Crowdfunding is such an important part of the business world, especially for startups, that it's strange to think the concept is only 20 years old, at least in its modern form. Today we're going to look at the site that brought it into the mainstream, Kickstarter, and then I'll give you a few simple tips for how to approach your own crowdfunding campaign. Getting money from many people to complete a project is hardly a new idea. This has been the basis of many communities, especially religious groups, for thousands of years. Think about the collections to fix the church roof, for example. The base of the Statue of Liberty was also paid for in a similar way. But this is basically charity. What about pure business? The modern format, where someone posts a project and their audience all pay a fee up front to make the project happen, was mostly driven by musicians. In 1997, the British rock band Marillion were told that there's no way they could afford a North American tour. So they emailed all the fans on their mailing list and asked them if they'd be willing to buy a ticket up front to help make it happen. The fans agreed, and they used the $60,000 raised to get everything booked. Soon, dedicated crowdfunding platforms began to appear, and although Indiegogo beat Kickstarter to the punch, or maybe Kick in this case, launching in 2008 compared to Kickstarter's April 2009, the latter has become the biggest platform out there. Founder Perry Chen came up with the idea after trying and failing to organize a concert. He thought, if enough people want an idea to happen, they'll give money to make it a reality. And he was right. To date, Kickstarter has raised $2.8 billion for a wide variety of products and projects. While there are pros and cons to every crowdfunding site, one of Kickstarter's strengths is its interest in the crowd part, not just the funding. It attracts a lot of repeat backers. That's why many companies use it to launch all their new products, not just as an initial way to generate capital. The biggest ever campaign was for a smartwatch called Pebble Time, raising over $20 million. But guess what? The Pebble Time 2 and the Pebble Time e-paper watch are also the third and fifth biggest campaigns. There's a sense of personal involvement to crowdfunding, that a little piece of you is going into making a product for you and for people like you. That sense is obvious in artistic projects, but the same still holds true for many businesses. And this is what you should bear in mind when it comes to running your own campaign. People care more about the why than they normally would. If you went into a phone store and the salesman started telling you the history of how Samsung began, you'd think they'd lost their mind. But in crowdfunding, you need both trust and an emotional involvement. If you were simply selling a product, most people would wait until it was released and had been reviewed. As we said before, don't forget about the crowd element. This should come before the funding. Based on the most successful projects, you need to exploit all of your network so that you can hit the ground running on launch day. Most crowdfunders live or die by their first few days, and you need momentum to reach a wide audience. That only comes from preparing the network you already have. It's also vital that you think carefully about your rewards. If you look at the video we made about Walmart and loss leaders, then you'll see how you can actually use the main product as a hook, but make a far bigger margin on the extras. You can offer early access, customization, or even just a chance to have some input on the product's development. And give some time limits, because there's nothing like urgency to give your campaign a boost. One final point is that crowdfunding is just the beginning. Even raising millions of dollars way over your initial targets does not guarantee a hit product. If you look at many of the most popular campaigns out there, the Pebble smartwatch, the Ouya open source games console, Neil Young's high-definition music player, the Pono, all of these had wildly successful campaigns but ultimately failed as businesses. So make sure you have a market and a solid production plan, not just a crowd. Want to learn more about business theory and history? Be sure to like and subscribe to be notified of our next segment.